friend of the channel, Cam Newton, who recently talked about how, with his new relationship with, what's her name? Jasmine, we'll see what her name is. Apparently, she's a comedian or an entertainer or something.
Jasmine Brown.
Brown, there you go, yeah. But apparently, with through his relationship with Jasmine Brown, they were going through the rigors of trying to build something out for the future. They've had a kid together, and I think the article says that she's pregnant again. But Cam Newton talked about how he asked her for who she's been with, what her list is, her body count, because he wanted to know whether she had been with anyone who he knows, because he wanted to kind of have that information so that he can, proceed accordingly. And so this dovetailed into all sorts of online conversations. And of course, the idea of him being insecure because he felt the need to ask this question that came up. And so I thought that this was pretty interesting. It says, Cam Newton says he asked girlfriend Jasmine Brown for a list of her past sexual partners. Cam Newton asked his girlfriend Jasmine Brown to share her body count. In an episode of the former NFL Players podcast, Funky Friday, he told his guest, actress Parker McKenna Posey, that he wanted to know Jasmine's list at around the 50-minute, 5-second mark. So I'm not going to read any of the quotes because I'm actually going to play the video. When Posey said Newton must not be insecure if he's able to hear his girlfriend's body count, Newton said his request has nothing to do with insecurity. According to Jasmine Brand, or what? Yeah, Brown. I think these articles get written with AI, bro.
Hysterical. Oh no, the Jasmine Brand. That's the.
Oh, that's the page. Okay,
yeah,
I
that's
got
the
it. Yeah.
IG.
According to the Jasmine Brand, Brown hopped in the comments to respond, writing, "I actually love the fact that he has my list. Such a weight off my chest." Followed by a sideways laughing, crying emoji. Newton and Brown started dating in 2022 and welcomed their first child together, a daughter, in March 2024. They shared in May of this year that they're expecting their second child together. Newton also has 7 children with women from previous relationships. He had 4 children with ex-girlfriend Kia Proctor, 3 sons and 1 daughter, and helped raise Proctor's older daughter from a previous relationship. He shares 1 child with ex-girlfriend Lorena Shaw, a son, and helped Shaw raise her son Jaden from a previous relationship. So we're going to actually jump off this, and we're going to play the snippet of Cam talking about him asking his lady Jasmine Brown for her body count.
I wanted to know her list
of who she.
I want to know.
Addresses?
I needed to know. I have to.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to tell you why, though. I want to know because before I sit up here and really keep moving and elevating our relationship, I want to know who got one up on me. And if I'm willing to take on that burden, because why I want to know, if you have any type of relationship, intimacy experiences with people that I really know, I need to know that. I'm owed that. Because if you don't give me that, you got me, hey y'all, this my girl. And you got somebody over there in that corner like, that nigga don't know. What's up, my boy? You good? She bad, ain't she? Yeah, that's mine. Baby, you want some juice? You want some punch?
But you're a special man because a lot of they're too insecure to actually really hear that.
That has
you're
nothing
a special man.
That has nothing to do with insecurity. But this is where I want women to understand. If she had been with somebody that was close to me, I would have had to respectfully, I'm not there yet. I can't.
Not that grown yet.
I can't carry that weight yet.
Right.
You cool, you're beautiful, but baby, that's my teammate.
Right.
Baby, we see each other too much. We in the same rooms. And even though he a good dude, my ego is gonna be, yeah. And that's the man's superpower, if given the right way. See, that's the thing. People always say, oh, he's narcissist because he got an ego. No, 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 no. Baby, a man's ego can make a relationship
Yes,
or break a relationship.
you are absolutely correct.
So that thing that makes me great, that protection, that bravado, when I walk around with my chest high and I know my woman is next to me and I know that she's giving me the respect to say, hey, baby, I'm coming to you pure. I've been with this person, that person, that person, this person. That's cool. There can be some people that it's just too heavy to bear.
Right.
And I think women need to understand that. Well, y'all out here just hanging out. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? You done hit my friend. Why you can't take me?
I get that. My issue is that a lot of men say that they can handle it, or like they're okay. I've never had to give anybody my list ever in my life. That is crazy, but
That's cool.
maybe it'll happen someday.
But that happened.
I won't feel bad sharing.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Jesus. Oh, man. You bringing the heat today, bruh.
Oh boy. What do you think about that, man? You know, take it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, but you know, bless his heart, man. I know exactly what he's talking about. I've had the unfortunate pleasure of being on both sides of that spectrum. Being you know, talking to somebody and you know there's somebody in the room I ain't know hadn't already had that, and I've been the other guy where you know the girl's talking to somebody and they think they got it going on, but I'm the one that had that. You know, that's what happens when you're in the game. So I know what he's talking about when, you know, you're in a room, you're sharing a room with a person, you know, figuratively or literally speaking. And, you know, you're like, hey, man, this is my old lady, Bossy Spleeze. And, you know, bro in the corner, you know, he's got this, I have this leg up on this situation kind of thing because, you know, he done already splat, you know. And so I've been there. I understand the internal strife that goes on after that. It's not a comfortable feeling. You would want more transparency from your woman. But okay, when you're out here playing this game, if you ask that question, and this is the part about this that I believe is somewhat dangerous rhetoric, because, you know, Cam Newton is setting this precedent of, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that too, because I don't like that feeling. I've been there before. I don't want that again. So let me go ahead and ask. Well, you can ask if you want. But my thing is more often than not, you're probably going to get a lie. So here's the thing. So Cam Newton is saying that, oh yeah, you know, blasey, please, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's say that she lied. And now you're double pumping your chest out. At this point, Cam Newton is doubling down this ego thing that he's talking about. And if he comes to find out that she lied about that, this is a double ego bruise. This could send him spiraling in many ways. And so I've learned from being out here in the field is that this is not okay, man. But the way the game is constructed, and this is why I never really cared for it, you have to be a narcissist and a bit of a sociopath dating wise, you know, Machiavellian style dater. And you can't care about anything. So so to touch on this point, I don't think it's safe as a person who's sitting here talking about his ego to put it on the line for somebody else's words. Hey, did you sleep with this person? Yes or no? And this person, based on their answer, you're going to base your life philosophy and how you're moving forward and all this. That's very dangerous because people lie all the time. And especially about something like this, of course, if this is going to ruin her chances with leveling up her life, why would she be honest? This is what I would tell myself before I even think to ask that question. So the best way to do it is get somebody that's completely not in the room with any of your people. You know, don't deal with people that could have access to one of your teammates. You know, you're flipping Cam Newton. You can find a girl at Home Depot.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this is a safe way to conduct yourself. I think it's very fragile. I think it can go either way. And when you're dealing with liars, because people lie, especially in the dating world, you don't want to put too much faith in that and all those eggs in that basket. Because, you know, the moment a DM gets revealed or some guy comes out and say something, or somebody else come out and say something about what your old lady was doing, you know, yeah, man, it could send somebody spiraling.
Yeah.
So I've got more to say on the back end of this, but that's my initial take. I think it's a bit risky to put so much faith in somebody else's words. But what are your thoughts, man, on Cam Newton asking for body counts on his old lady and saying that his ego won't allow him to date somebody that she knows that she smashed? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this to me kind of relates to the topic that we just talked about with people being on and off the grid. Cam Newton is certifiably, of course, on the grid.
1,000.
And I think when you're on the grid, especially in the various industries that he's been in, be it the media game or professional sports, the entertainment industry, let's just call it the entertainment industry because it all fits within the umbrella of the entertainment industry. When you're in the entertainment industry and you choose to be on the grid, because Cam Newton is certainly choosing to be on the grid, I feel like these are calculated measures that are expected. Because within the context of being on the grid in the entertainment industry, this is one of the ways that men can try to protect themselves against the feeling of betrayal. Now, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong or fair or unfair, but I am saying that it is an expected measure because of the field that he's playing in. I think when you're on the grid and you choose to be on the grid, you're going to be dating women who are also on the grid and women who also choose to be on the grid. And women who choose to be on the grid, especially within the micro universe of the entertainment industry, there's a decent likelihood that they've been with somebody you know. And depending on who that individual is that you know that she's been with, could determine your relative level of comfort with pursuing anything with this woman. Now, if it's a person who's an acquaintance or somebody who you barely know, I would imagine it's not as big of a deal. But he used the word teammate. So yeah, bruh, you working for ESPN or you got your own podcast or you in the entertainment industry or you playing the NFL and you're messing with chicks who are on the grid, you're sharing women who have been with other men in your same field of play.
Exactly.
And so you're going to have to determine your level of comfort given the reality that you've chosen to be a part of that. Now, me personally, I feel like that's an exercise in futility because at some point you're going to run up on one or two or three who you are, who you, right, who you're going to learn you're sharing with another individual who's had it before. And so I kind of feel like, and this is where I'll say this relates to the previous topic that we discussed. I feel like if you're going to go through the mental exercise of figuring out the way to obtain that information in a tactful manner so that you can make an informed decision as to whether you want to pursue something with this person, to me, that's indicative of the fact that if you had it your way, you wouldn't have to do that. Because if you were really on board with this and you really didn't care, you wouldn't even be asking a question. Like Future, for example. I know we bring him up often on the channel as well. Future strikes me as a guy who, if he meets a chick who's in the game and on the grid, he ain't asking that because he don't give a damn.
Right.
Because he really is about that life and he wants to be there. So but Cam Newton, on the other hand, is asking this because in an ideal world, there is no conflict of interest because there's nothing going on that would prohibit him from wanting to pursue the information, from wanting him to pursue the relationship any further, because she hasn't been with anybody that he knows. So my whole thing is, if in an ideal world you're not having to deal with that, Cam, you can actually have that by just pursuing women who aren't on the grid. But to me, Cam Newton is the type of person who I described in the previous topic, who, if he had it his way, wouldn't be on the grid, but because he feels he has no other choice, he's forced to play it in the way that he can best perform it. And it's a cautionary tale about this social conditioning that we are currently being forced to conform to. And we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned the girl at Home Depot, and that's the point that I was making with this whole thing. If Cam Newton wanted to, he can get a girl who looks just as good as her, who is inconspicuous, who's not an entertainer, who's not in the industry, and to whom you don't necessarily have to be concerned with whether she smashed a homie or a teammate.
Correct.
But he is being a part of the grid because he feels as though he has to play that game. And that kind of mindset is trickling down to the rest of society, of course, which is why we just got finished discussing what we just discussed with what Willow Smith had to say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, bro, you're digging your own grave. Why even bother asking a question? You're dealing with a woman in the entertainment industry. If you're willing to pursue that, you therefore must also be willing to pursue all of the extenuating circumstances that are undesirable that come along with it. So why bother ask the question?
Exactly.
If she was with the teammate, what does that mean? Are you really going to say no to her? Are you really going to reject her? It's cool for him to say he wouldn't, but if push comes to shove, we don't know what he'd do.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying, man? We're all in this rat race, bro. And it's very it's very corrosive. It's very corrosive. It's counterproductive to relationship building, family building, marriage, if you still believe in that sort of thing, rearing children, all of these things that we claim to still care about, but we're going about doing it in all manners of ways that are counterintuitive to doing those very things successfully. So good luck to them, and good luck to everybody who looks at it that way. Because, there's guys now who are regular dudes working at UPS, and they meeting a girl and they asking her for her body count because they don't know if she's been with some dude that he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all doing this madness. And I've been there as well. I've been the guy who was in the position to perhaps ask the question, and I've also been the other guy to whom the other guy is asking the question about.
Yep.
And in either scenario, it's very unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way to sidestep that is to not conform to these ridiculous customs and to be off the grid and do things the quote unquote traditional way. But of course, no one wants to do that because there's a conflation between what's traditional and what's wrong. And unfortunately, we've come to believe that, and this is what you get. So I feel like he's doing what he has to do, given the space that he occupies. And the only question is whether he can gain the wherewithal to learn how to get out of his own way. And in all likelihood, he won't, because by and large, most of us never figure out how to get out of our own way.
Yeah, man. And I think the name of the game, as I mentioned earlier, if you're in the game, is self-preservation, because once you're in the game so much, you've done the dating, you done got into relationships, situationships, you done did the whole 9 yards. One thing that you do realize is that other party that you're dealing with is in for self-preservation. They'll lie to you, they'll manipulate to you, they'll send flying monkeys, gaslight, you name it, in order to keep you off your game for their self-preservation. So when you're dealing with that, whenever you're in the game, you got them in a game kind of way. You step down on her, you flash in this, you flash in that. I'm Cam Newton. I played for the Carolina Panthers, won a Heisman champion. You know what I'm saying? All this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like if this is where you're at, this is what you're doing. Okay, bro. Then yeah, like you've got you a woman that's in the game. At that point, self-preservation is the key. So if self-preservation is the key, whatever their words are is not geared towards your self-preservation. You can't base your self-preservation on somebody else's word. And so if you're out here in the field, okay, that's why it doesn't pay to ask. I don't care what you tell me.
Right.
When I learned that very early in the game, and I think I've shared this story on here before, but I used to ask that out of curiosity, like what's going on out here, and then I kept getting 3. I kept getting 3, and I'm like, hey, what? Why is every girl telling me 3? And then at some point it boiled down to, and then once we started going, getting into it, I was like, it wasn't 3 people here. I can feel the other spirits around this situation, and it's not 3. Okay, I'm definitely not number 4 here. All right. So once it got to, and then I felt betrayed from there. And even when I heard the 3 and the stories that they're telling, I didn't even want to hear that. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? All the strange, inconspicuous spots they were doing it at and all this other stuff. And I didn't want to hear it. So it got to the point where I was like, it doesn't pay to ask. It doesn't. And the older I got, okay, and then I'm dealing with women that are been in the game longer. Okay. It's to a point where it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So long as you don't have yourself a streetwalker. If you just got you a regular everyday girl that's out here and doing whatever, dating, having one night stands over which she'll never let you know about, and so all of that stuff, like the regular dating pool, it doesn't pay to ask. It just doesn't. And so if you're in here rubbing elbows, and so the part about it, if you're in here rubbing elbows, calling this person your homeboy, and this person feel like they got the one up on you, is this person your homeboy? Why are you calling him your homeboy? You know what I'm saying? So this goes to a situation of, what are you doing as a person? What are you banking your self-preservation on? And so at the end of the day, it comes to taking care of yourself. And this is how the game becomes sociopathic. This is why everybody's dating a narcissist. Every girl says this guy's a narcissist. Every guy said that girl's a narcissist. Yeah, because the game creates that. The longer you be in it, the more callous you become as a person. So it's not really healthy at all. But if you're out there, you better protect yourself. So the moral of this is, of course, on the grid, off the grid type of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes people can't help it. They're just trying to get to know somebody. And at the end of the day, self-preservation is key. And I'm not taking somebody else's word for it. Just not. She can simply lie, because at this point, she knows that, baby girl, I can't do this. So why would she tell you the truth? And this goes beyond just asking for smash numbers. This asking for who you still talk to. Is your ex still around? Is this person, all these phantom people in their phones? You know what I'm saying? Dude from 10 years ago still hanging around, just lurking. You know what I'm saying? If you ask about him, any of these situations, of course you're going to get the politically correct answer. So why ask? So this is the part of the game. This is the part of the whole game where it's like, hey, look, you have to know what you're signing up for. And if you do not want that, abandon this person. Why are you with them in the first place? You like how her shape look? You like how this going on? You like what she does with that piercing? Why are you with her then? Because this woman, for all intents and purposes, hypothetically speaking, doesn't give you all the signs that she's off the grid. So with that stuff being said, I don't agree with this. This falls into a bucket of dangerous rhetoric, if you ask me, because I'm sure there's some young men out there that are watching Cam Newton, respect him, and going, you know what, that's true, bro. Like, I ain't trying to be in no circle, you know what I'm saying, no people, and somebody else or a couple other people done hit that, and I'm sitting there caking down the floor. Well, I mean, listen, bro. Your woman is somebody's slur. Let me repeat that. Okay, your woman was somebody's piece, some slur. Your woman got ghosted by a dude. Some guy just hit it once and disappeared. A couple times disappeared. She still chased that. Like, your woman's not immune to that, especially if she was in the field. So at some point, you got to get over that. Life is bigger than that. And if you treat life differently, then maybe this wouldn't hurt your ego as much. So yeah, man, just words of the wise. What I've learned from being out here in the jungle, it doesn't pay for you to be so consumed and caught up in somebody's body count for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm gonna bucket this as dangerous rhetoric. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like if you're preoccupied with those kinds of concerns, I think you should take inventory on the type of people that you're trying to talk to.
Mhm.
You know, it's that simple. Because you know, if the only way to truly sidestep all of it is to just operate in different social circles, and talk to people within particular contexts in which they don't carry themselves in such a way to make you speculate in that way.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to make the change to do that, then you have to accept everything that comes with it, which takes me back to which kind of takes us back to your point about not asking, which I agree with. I don't really see the utility in that. I don't get it. That's like meeting a woman in a strip club and then asking her if she's ever slept with any of the guys that she's met at the strip club. What kind of answer are you
Exactly.
expecting to hear?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And this is less to do about her and
Of
him
course.
per se, because apparently he got a good answer from her. So they were able to continue. But the instances in which it's going to happen that way are far and few between. And it's less about them specifically, and it's more about the act of asking the question and what it means and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because I kind of feel like there has to be a certain amount of mental anguish and turmoil associated with living an existence in which anytime you meet a person, you have to go through this process of asking these kinds of questions. And the way that I conventionally process information is I want to remove myself from having to do that. I don't want to have to learn how to best deal with it. I'd rather just not deal with it at all. So what I'm going to do is meet women who don't give me the impression that I have to even ask that question in the first place.
Very fair.
And that doesn't mean that she's a prude or that she doesn't have experience or that she's, whatever. That don't mean none of that, or unattractive or don't look good. That doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means what are the circles that she operates in, or anybody, man or woman. What are the circles that they operate in? Where do they like to frequent? How did you meet them? Under what circumstances? All those things mean something.
Yep.
And people need to take inventory of that stuff instead of just feeling like they have to conform to all of these ridiculous social customs that amount to nothing more than constant mental anguish. Like, get out of the hamster wheel.
Yes.
So, I guess he was fortunate enough to where his result was amicable. But the vast majority of us out here who are doing this, we're not getting amicable results. So there's only one way to deal with that. And it's not to continue to deal with it. It's to learn how to get out of it. So.
Yeah. And well said, bro. Because, people need an off the grid philosophy, man. And what you just said was off the grid. And there's some people that want to be off the grid, but still find themselves in it. And I think that's what mine's become applicable. And it's look out for your best interests. You know what your pitfalls are as a person. You know what grinds your gears. You know what's unacceptable and stuff like that. But if you find yourself out there, because I'm telling you right now, man, you just doing your thing. You thought you did the right thing, but next thing you know, you find yourself in the field again. And when that happens, you have to have these compartments in your brain that alleviates that stress and anxiety, because the world ain't over. Yes, uncomfortable, but why are you feeling uncomfortable in that moment? And not letting another person control your emotions is very key. And because the more you go through life without allowing others to control your behavior and your thoughts, the better you'll be off. So yeah, and this is the reason why I thought Cam's statements was a little off basis, because his whole literal mental health and happiness in life was predicated on this woman's response.
Yeah, talk to me nice. Yeah,
Yeah, like,
right.
can't deal with it, man.
Yeah. Hey man, shouts out to Cam, friend of the channel. You
For
know,
sure.
brother, you know, hopefully this situation lasts and is happy, man. I hope the best for him. But he's definitely an on the grid guy.
Yeah,
And good luck not having to deal with that so long as you continue to be on the grid. And that goes for anybody out here, man or woman. So
stay safe, y'all. Stay
yeah.
safe, man. It's cold out there.